car broke down. It will be a quick drive, or not quick drive, but it's an hour or two away. We can sit in the car for an hour or two with me, Jarek, and Blake.
The vehicle in question is a 2010 Honda CRV that's still on the roads. The story goes as such.
The last day Blake was going to be here until he heads up to his, back home to his place. I was like, oh, how about us three just do some shit in town? We hang out, and then you can drop Blake off at home, Jarek. You can drive home yourself, and you can drop me off at Brady's place.
It was the weekend. It was definitely the weekend. Now, I had the car for a week because at the time I was working for Toyota. What ended up happening, there was a Mother's Day deal going on. And since I see my grandmother as a motherly figure because she's been in my life for so long, I said, hey, give me your car for a week. I will go, I'm scheduling an appointment for the end of the week, and I will get your vehicle fixed up for you. Like, I'll get it all checked out, and I'll get a detail done on it. For those who don't know, a detail on a vehicle is where they buff it, wax it, make the outside look really nice and neat, and then they completely clean the inside. Now, there were a few complications throughout the week. We went to go to the fair, and we picked up one of our friends named Vegito. I won't share his name.
Jarek has the car, so he's in charge of wherever we go. And Jarek's a nice enough guy. He just wanted to chill for the day. So him owning the car, obviously, we're going to go places all around in the car. Outside of the even, which is what we did. But I was like, on our way back, you drop Blake off because I already got to spend the time I wanted to spend with him, and you drop me off at Brady's, so I'll make everybody happy. And that was my plan.
And about a quarter of the way through our day of fun, after we came back from a hike, I noticed the brake pads were very low. And I had noticed this earlier in the day, so just to be specific, I had noticed the brake pads before everything else. So I went and bought new brake pads. And the original plan was to wait until Friday, where my dad could fix the brake pads for me, to replace them completely. So I bought her some nice top-of-the-brand brake pads because, Mother's Day, right? I bought her some nice top-of-the-brand brake pads and plan was to get them repaired Friday. Days before that, the brakes reached a point where there was a metal pin on the brakes, and those are to tell you that, hey, you need to change your brakes because they start to squeal, right? Because that's metal on metal. So at that point, we were like, oh no, I gotta go get the brakes replaced. So I dropped off Nick. I dropped off Nick and Blake, I think. And then I had Vivo in the car with me. I brought Vivo to my dad's house because we were going to drop Vivo off at his house. So my dad fixed the brakes. Now, that was the first problem. The days go by, and everything's going well. The brakes are working really well in the car's in good shape. About a couple of days before the appointment, all right, to get the car detailed, my grandma says, hey, how about you come up to the island and do my lawn for me? And I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll come do that for you. You know what? I'm using your car. I'll come up. I'll drop you off at work. I'll mow your lawn for you. I'll clean it up. I'll make it nice. My idea was, hey, let's bring our friends. So I wake up Blake. I wake up Nick, and I said, hey, you guys want to go to the island for the day and just hang out while I'm just labor and just chill while we're there. And the consensus was, yes, let's go do that. We get up about halfway to the island, all right? We get our coffees, we get our donuts, whatnot, whatever. And I said, you know what? I'm trying to keep the amount of money I need for detailing in my bank account. So let's go to my house and let's grab my reserve tank of gas. I filled this reserve tank of gas up a year ago, and I hid it away because my landlord at the time liked to come up, take my gas, and use it for their riding mower to cut our yards without telling me. So keep that in mind. I get there, pull up, start filling up. And at this point, I'm like, oh, I want to start my old car. I want to show them if the old car still runs. So we go to do that, and it doesn't start. So I say, okay, whatever, we'll forget about it.
Jarek went to put in some extra gas, but he forgot that it rained the day before, so some water got in the gas tank.
No. A lot of the information kind of changed. From what we assumed, it was from the rain. As I'm filling up the tank with the 20-liter can that I got, I go, that looks really clear and watery. Unlike gas, which kind of has a cloud to it. It's really weird to explain. But you can kind of tell the difference, right? So I go, that doesn't look right. So I get Blake to come over and I go, hey, take a sniff out of this real quick, because I was nose blind at the time. And he goes, smells like gas. I taste his finger. And he goes, that's water. Luckily, I didn't put a lot of water in the gas tank.
And then when he, puts the water in the car, obviously that doesn't mix well with the gas tank, and the battery gets fucking screwed. So, no car. We were stuck in the middle of a highway.
Now, when my landlord took the gas can to fill up his tank, he filled it up with water to make it look like there was some gas in there. After this happens, I'm panicking. I'm going, oh shit, right? Like, oh fuck, there's water in my gas tank? Oh, I'm fucked.
The whole day went down the drain.
We get about halfway down the road of where I live. Because I used to live out of the town that all of us live in. We get about halfway. We don't even make it towards the highway. We get to the farm that's right above the hill, which is 30 seconds from the highway for a drive. And I noticed 3 symbols on my dash. Battery, traction, and I can't remember the other one. Oh fuck, right? I go, shit. And then I realize I can't steer as well. Because what happens is your car, when it runs out of battery, you can no longer use your electronic power steering, which is what my car had, my grandma's car had. So I'm doing this to pull the tire, right? Like, it's hard to pull the car dies completely. I was able to walk back to the house to get the money from my grandma, because I lived with my other grandma at the time. Okay, hold on. To clarify, this is the vehicle we were using was my Grandma Sally's. The grandma I lived with was her mother, my great-grandma, who I called Gigi. All right? So I walked back up to her house. She gave me $400, or not for a taxi, a tow truck, and a new battery. Because she figured it was a battery issue. My buddy, who lives a street away, well, by street, I mean like a 10, 15-minute drive from me, Josh, he came and brought us some additives, which we put into the gas can to capsulize the water in the tank and burn it away so that you just have gas in the car. Because at this point, we thought it was just the water in the tank that caused the engine to shut down. We charged the battery. The car is not starting. And at this point, the mechanic who took a mechanic class in high school at that point should have thought it might not be the gas tank. About 4 hours go by, and this is the best part of the story. This is the part that made me laugh.
By the time someone came to pick us up, it was 9 p.m. So I said, okay, well, I'm not going to pop by at Brady's place at 9 p.m. because it's late. He's probably getting, it's just late. I'm tired as shit. If I wanted to hang out with him, I'd need the energy. It just overall wouldn't be a good time now.
At this point, I'm losing my patience. I'm getting mad. I'm kicking shit. I'm yelling in rage type stuff. I'm going, oh my god, I'm so pathetic, that kind of stuff. You start degrading yourself because I called my grandma and I said, hey, the vehicle isn't working. We're trying to figure out what's going on. I'm so sorry. She's freaking out because, hey, I have to get to work. How the fuck am I getting to work type stuff? We ran into some issues. There's now, in our local area on Google Maps, it showed, I think, if I remember correctly, 4 or 5 tow truck companies in the nearby vicinity. All but one of them had a working vehicle. That's not a joke. The first one I called said none of their vehicles were working. The second one I called said the only truck they had for tow trucks broke down 3 hours ago. The third one I called also said every truck was broken down. The fourth one, same thing. The fifth one finally was able to get a tow truck. Thank God. Now, at this point, we call Blake's mom to come pick us up. Blake's mom arrives as the tow truck gets here. She takes Blake and Nick and drops them off. The tow truck comes, picks up my grandma's car, and we're out of there. Now, we have been there from the morning to the afternoon when the sun is starting to set. So, rough day, right? It gets rougher. I go to work the next morning, and I can't stop thinking about this. I keep thinking it's my fault, right? I keep thinking I fucked up. I'm a horrible. The tow truck is put the car in my dad's car. Dad, he got not a certified mechanic, knows a thing or two about car. So, what ends up happening is I get back from work, and I'm losing my fucking marbles because at this point, my sister, who we don't really refer to as my sister anymore, that's a whole other story. She gave the car keys to some random people and didn't tell me until later in the day while I'm home. So I was pretty mad because the car is my responsibility right now, right? I got home and the car's still there. And me and my dad spent about 2 to 3 hours turning the car into a van. Because a fun thing about cars is if you disconnect the fuel line from the engine, which is a small little tube, and you just switch it to on, it will immediately pump gas through that tube into the engine so that when you turn the key fully to start it, it'll start. We did that till the entire engine was empty, and we went through 3 buckets of gas. There was a lot of water in those tanks. Those tanks. My dad then filtered them out and used them for regular gas, like he filtered the water from the gas. Because the thing with gas, for those who don't know, is gas and water is like oil and soap. If you dip your finger in soap and you put it in oil, which I recommend everybody try, it's a really cool science experiment. You dip it in oil, all right? So you dip your finger in soap, then you dip it in a vat of oil. The oil will separate so the soap can get in because soap, water, and oil don't mix at all. So that's what was happening with the gas and the water. They don't separate. Like when you put water in the gas can and there's gas in it, it sinks right to the bottom immediately. Like it's a 20-pound weight. So we drain the whole tank and we put fresh gas in it. My dad then turns on the driver and it's in something called low power mode, which is where the vehicle can only go up to like 20 miles per hour or 20 kilometers an hour. Sorry, I'm not American. And can barely make it up a hill. So at this point, my grandma's friend, his mom, his mom's friend comes in and with the flatbed, and we put the car on the flatbed, and he takes away because he works on tractors, he works on vehicles. Come to find out, this is where everything was so dumb. My great grandma was right. The water had no effect on the engine. It was a battery issue the whole damn time. Battery died. The battery went kaput died past its expiration date. And the entire time I was beating myself up going, oh my god, I fucked up. Holy crap. Oh my god, this is horrid. Oh my god. You know, blah, 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 blaming myself. Somebody got me drive the car again. Which she didn't for a while. Battery. That's all it needed to be fixed. Battery. And just to be safe, man who will not be named drained the fuel tank. Just to be safe. And he said there's still some water in there and everything get out, but he said the water wouldn't have had any point. It had short circuited. So imagine my relief when it wasn't my fault. But I gotta give credit where credit is due to Nick and Blake, because without them, I would have absolutely lost my fucking mind. I was very, very pissed off. Like I said, this is because this story's only happening because I noticed the Block Talk episode about the car. And the thing was, Nick's side of it, which, for all I know, I had no idea what to do that day. I can't remember most of that. I only remember the parts about the car. Because that day is engraved in my fucking mind forever. So I was mad for months. I didn't go home for months after that. I stayed at Nick's house for months because I knew if I saw my landlord's husband, it was on site. It was absolutely on site. Because I took care of his horse, his next horse. I took care of the chickens at the time. I did all of the chores around the yard. And he steals my gas. So until I found out the battery issue, I was livid. And my grandma, understandably fearful, didn't let me touch nothing for almost a year. Until I managed to convince her, hey, it wasn't my. But yeah, no, that's the story of how we got straight to the middle of the country.